Good afternoon, everyone. We are accountants from Monash Company, and it is an honor for us to be here to help Jungle Book Company to solve the internal problem. My name is Priscilla, and I'm going to talk about the revenue cycle, and this is my partner Sarah, and she's going to talk about the expenditure cycle.
We are going to discuss about the 6 internal problem of each cycle, followed by the solution, and what's the consequences if your company doesn't apply it in your cycle.
Revenue cycle consists of two systems. The first is sales order system and the second is cash receipt system. The first problem is the inefficiencies caused by the manual procedures in the current system. So the manual system, such as using multiple hard copies as the communication between departments, causes inefficiencies in the company, which can impact in its relationship with its customers. As a solution, it is suggested that Jungle Book to use computer-based system so that they can re-engineer sales order processing with real-time technology. Interactive computer terminals allow the sales clerk to update the sales order master file, as in like this. It provides a real-time input and output with batch updating of only some master file. Sales clerk does not have to prepare a lot of documents, and they can directly just use the master file and name it as sales order open file. If this is not implemented, many of the sales clerk in different departments are going to make clerical errors. And sending multiple hard copies as well is time consuming and it becomes inefficient for the company. The company could also lose competitive advantage in the marketplace. The second problem is poor inventory management by the company. This causes stockout, which makes customers' order being delayed. As a solution, it is suggested that the company do a regular count so that they will find any discrepancies with the perpetual inventory system. The company should also separate the duties in the warehouse department. As a consequence, if this is not being implemented, the company might keep on experiencing stockouts where customers might be disappointed with the company and they prefer to order from other competitors. The third problem is that in the current system, there is no segregation of duties between the transaction authorization and transaction processing. The best way to increase internal control is to have segregation of duties between these two activities. It is suggested that credit manager is the one who approves the sales order instead of the sales clerk. If this issue is not addressed, it might lead to conflict between the sales clerk and the company, because often the compensation for the sales clerk is to maximize the sales performance. In such case, the sales staff may just receive any order from the customer without ensuring their creditworthiness. In the future, the company might get customers who are not be able to pay off their credits. The fourth problem is that currently there is no customer acknowledgement sent by the sales clerk to the customer. The sales clerk will allow the transaction to happen without ensuring that there is available inventory on hand. As a solution, when capturing customer order, the sales clerk should check the availability of the inventory and then send customer acknowledgement back to the customer. As a consequence, if the sales clerk does not send any customer acknowledgement, customer will directly think that their order is being processed, which in such cases when the inventory are not available, customer will keep on waiting and waiting, but the company does not send any goods to the customer. So customer will keep on complaining to the company that their order is not being received. This can impact on the relationship between the Jungle Book and the customer, and customer might want to order from other competitors instead of Jungle Book. The fifth problem is that sales clerk is not supposed to prepare sales journal. Sales journal is a special journal used for recording sales transaction when the transaction has been completed. So in this case, sales transaction has not even been completed in the sales order department. It is suggested that billing department is the one who is supposed to prepare the sales journal, because at that time, the transaction of the goods is already being completed. If sales clerk is the one who prepared the sales journal, the company might keep on experiencing the problem of not having a legitimate documentation of transaction. Therefore, the billing clerk should be the one who prepared the sales journal. And last but not least is the problem in the cash receipt system. Currently, accounts receivable department have the custody to the cash receipts. This should not happen, and as a solution, it is suggested that the cash receipts department is the one who takes the custody of the cash receipts and then transfer all of this along with the deposit slip to the bank. The consequence of not implementing this solution is that account receivable clerk will have the custody and they're recording the payments at the same time. And account receivable clerk will be able to steal the money and falsify the account to conceal the theft.
So now let's talk about the expenditure cycle. Expenditure cycle consists of cash payment system and also purchase system. So the main problem from this cycle is the manual PC workstation, which leads to miscommunication and also a lot of hard documentation. So the first problem for the expenditure cycle from the purchase system is no separation duties within the purchasing department with the monitoring level of inventory. So my solution is we put another monitoring inventory clerk and also the preferred vendor file. Although it costs more for the clerk, but it's better than cost to wrong purchasing. If it's not implemented in your system, there will be less efficiency of inventory management, which can cause the unauthorized purchasing and can be excessive of inventory amount. The second problem is from your receiving department, which is currently your receiving department is receive the purchase order copy. For my solution is you better to provide the blank copy only. So if your receiving department receive the purchase order copy instead of the blank copy, there will be less time to count and inspect inventory such as quality control that can make another cost for the damages, and also they don't have enough time to complete the receiving report. So the third problem is also come from your receiving department. So your receiving department not only provide 3 hard copies for 3 department only. My solution is you have to provide another 2 hard copy for another 2 department and also put access between account payable department and open or close pre-order file, which can lead to reduce the hard copy documents. If you don't send another hard copy to inventory department, it can cause not updated inventory record and purchase order, which is not efficient. And also if you don't send another copy to open or close pre-order file, there will be miscommunication between vendor and receiving department about the goods that already received or not received. The fourth problem is from your account payable department. During the time that the account payable department wait for receiving report, there will be a time lag. So my solution is for the account payable clerk to more aware for those unrecorded liabilities and also more accurate financial statement preparation at the end of the fiscal period. If you don't apply this solution, there will incorrect estimation of the value of obligation, which you have to make adjustment to fix those errors and more time consuming. The fifth problem is from the general ledger department, which is general ledger department doesn't receive any account summary from inventory control. My solution is provide journal voucher from account payable department and account summary from inventory department due to completeness of this cycle. If it's not applied to cycle, no completeness of inventory account control and inventory subsidiary summary, which it should be no piece of information essential to a decision or task should be missed. The last problem is come from your cash payment system. So no updated account payable record and account payable summary for your general ledger department. The solution for this problem is send the photocopy of check to account payable department. This is to remove the liability from account payable subsidiary account and record the check details and payment details in account payable subsidiary ledger. If you don't do this, it is impossible to reconcile the reduction in the firm obligation, which is because now cross-check the journal voucher in account payable summary.
So, as a solution for the revenue cycle, it is very important for the company to implement our solution in order to not experience the problems such as stockouts and receiving complaints from customers anymore.
So the conclusion for the expenditure cycle, it is important to maintain the internal control of each system. This is to avoid some error and also frauds. The second one is to find the cost-effective solution for internal control process, such as MRP, GIT, EDI, vendor managed inventory, pre-award audit, ERS, and materiality threshold for check writing. And the last one is the completeness of cycle, which is to accomplish one of accounting information generation, which means no information left behind. Thank you for your attention, and I hope our solution may help your company to solve the internal control problems. Thank you.